A shadow falls across the world, unseen, unheard, yet felt in the very marrow of your bones. Have you ever pondered the fragility of existence, the gossamer thread that separates being from nothingness? What if everything you hold dear, everything you believe to be true, were to unravel in the blink of an eye? He savored a moment. It is good, but it is still not as good as the wedding cake. You are going to Peach's wedding on Saturday? Sure, my wife loves weddings. The bigger the better. Ours was just asking the preacher. Oh, this one's going to be a big one for sure. Plenty of eating, plenty of drinking, then a pause. I guess that drinking part don't make much of a difference to you, does it? Near where he go now? Panic erupted. Mr. McKnee, where's he, girl? Mr. McKnee. A frantic voice pierced the air. Serge, you see Mr. McKnee? Grab a phone. They are going crazy now. A calm voice, laced with concern, offered solace. Ma'am, I've heard of husbands who go to the corner store for a pack of cigarettes and wind up in California. You just give him a little time and see if he doesn't show up. Grab a phone. Tell me something. Have you seen Mr. McKnee anywhere? A sigh. No. Look, I understand what you're saying. No. I'm sorry. We can't file a missing persons report until the person has been missing for 24 hours. Yes, ma'am. I understand. But if you could just hold for one moment. Thank you. Another voice, laced with urgency. Hello? Yes, sir. Please, can you hold? What is going on? People are calling. Something about disappearances. What? I do not know, sir. Car 97's been in the crash. Bradford's hurt. I'm sending an ambulance. How is he? He is not there. Where is he? Well, I don't know. Lieutenant Bradford said he was driving, and then he wasn't there, and then the car crashed. Bradford's hallucinating. Send back, yes, Lieutenant. A plea shattered the air. Please tell me you've got to do something. My husband and daughter. They are gone. They were there. I looked, and then they vanished. A soothing voice attempted to calm the storm. Just relax. Listen, we're going to help you. Let me get you a glass of water. Desperation echoed. You do not understand. My husband's gone. They were there, and then they vanished. I looked, and they are. A hushed voice interrupted. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, Lieutenant. You have got to hear this. The world tilted on its axis. An anchor's voice, heavy with disbelief, cut through the chaos. In case you have just joined us, this is WNN's continuous global coverage of what can only be described as the greatest disaster or possibly attack in human history. It is uncertain what has brought about the catastrophic events we are witnessing. There is still no explanation forthcoming. It seems that all efforts around the globe are aimed at trying to control and stabilize the situation. Here is what we do know. At 4:59 Eastern Time, millions of people literally vanished off the face of the earth, both from this country and from around the world, utterly defies conventional explanations. A reporter's voice, tinged with urgency, filled the void. With the sudden disappearance of literally millions of people, the entire planet is experiencing fear and confusion. A solemn voice resonated. You never saw it coming. You never imagined it could be possible, but it did happen. You've seen it with your own eyes. Millions have instantly vanished, yet you have been left behind. What happened? Where did they go? What happens now? Stay tuned, because this is an urgent message for you and for those who remain. Images flickered across the screen, a tableau of pandemonium. This filling station was destroyed when an unmanned vehicle collided with the pumps. Highways are plugged with accidents caused by moving vehicles whose drivers seem to have just disappeared. 2 helicopters collided over an airbase in the Philippines as their blades touched after one of the pilots vanished. Fear has launched the greatest mobilization of military force that the world has ever seen all over the world. A beacon of faith, a pastor's voice emerged. Hello, I'm Pastor John Hagee, and I'm one of those who have vanished off the face of the earth. Yet I knew this event would take place, so I wanted to send this message to personally explain what has happened to you and to help you make the most important decision in your life. I know you are going through terror and confusion right now. Your nerves are afraid. And if someone you loved was among those who vanished, you are probably almost out of your mind. But if you will listen to me, there is hope. There are answers to all of your questions. Let me start by saying that if you did lose someone you love, do not weep for them. Rejoice for them, because this very day they're in the presence of the Lord that they love so dearly. That's right. No matter what other explanations you may have been given, The truth is that this event that you have just witnessed is something we Christians have called the rapture, and as true believers in the Bible and in Jesus Christ we knew that this would happen. We've been taken home to live forever with our Heavenly Father. That is what's happened, and that is where all the people have gone. You ask, how could we have known that such a day would come? We knew because the Bible predicted this incredible event before it happened. And because of the detail the Bible has given to us, we can see into the future where you are living and know exactly what you are going through right now. The anchor returned. Ladies and gentlemen, we are receiving reports from all around the world that may shed some light on exactly what might have happened. We will start with videographer Alan Cambero in London. A reporter, amidst the chaos, painted a grim picture. The situation here in central England is absolutely out of control. There are hardly words to describe it, with reports of tens of thousands of, I guess what you would have to call vanishings now reported. The impact has been staggering here on a highway not far from London. Thousands of vehicles suddenly became deadly projectiles when their drivers simply disappeared into thin air. It's almost impossible to comprehend. In a tiny Swiss village, this is the scene after a suddenly unmanned passenger train with more than 60 cars raced into a train station at full speed, smashing into the back of another train. Without warning, this aircraft plummeted to the ground in a huge fireball. An instant after the tower lost contact with the pilot, this helicopter lost altitude without explanation and crashed into the water below. The pilot's clothes were found, but nobody was recovered, and citizens around the world are reacting in the only way most people could expect, with total panic. Here in Tokyo, hundreds of people were gathered around this lobby, listening to a top government official as he spoke. However, he vanished in front of them. No one at the time could possibly have known that the same thing had happened in every city on Earth. And no matter where you look around the world, it seems that almost everyone has lost someone, and there was total mayhem on city streets everywhere as people rush around trying to find their loved ones. Where the people went, however, is anyone's guess. NASA and the crew aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia report no sighting from beyond this world, at least none that our instruments can detect. On the military front, all hostilities have simply ceased. In chaos and confusion, any military forces that can be spared patrol the borders of their respective nations, but not one of those nations has any idea who or what they are looking for. Looting and rioting are a commonplace, and as one new York police chief told us, it's as if a cloud of evil suddenly descended upon us tonight. Unfortunately, many of the world's peace officers are being forced to pay the price. Why were they taken? Why were we left behind? The anchor concluded. For WNN, I'm Janet Shutt. One world, one network. This is WNN. A somber lieutenant spoke. My name's Lieutenant Scott. I know this is a difficult time for you, ma'am, but if you could answer a few questions, it might help us. Another officer interjected. Ma'am, she's been like that for an hour, sir. She's not the only one. Even Mason's pretty messed up, and we have got reports of looting all over. I want every available man and car on the street now. Yes, sir, and give me some answers. The world is not going to know what hit it. A voice of warning echoed. It's going to be a disaster beyond anything the world has ever seen. It is going to be a time of chaos and pain. With this massive disappearance, countless problems will instantly arise. Cars without drivers will cause horrific accidents. Planes will crash as Christian pilots suddenly disappear. Fires are going to spread. Emergency crews will be depleted and unable to cope. Stores and counters left unattended will be looted and vandalized. Communication systems like phones, radios, and televisions will cease to function. Hospitals will be overrun, but that will be far from the worst of it. Many will lose their minds. What you are going through right now is almost beyond imagination. You may have even seen someone that you love vanish right before your eyes, and then there was no chance to say anything, not even to say goodbye. The lieutenant, gently. I'm just trying to establish if your experience is the same as the others, okay? We at the store, all of us, my husband and Samantha. Samantha's your daughter? Yes, we were in the store, and I was looking at things, and then my husband started to say something. There was a pause, or maybe he inhaled, I don't know, but when I turned, he was gone, and so was Sam. Did they've gone somewhere? No, there wasn't time. They were there, and they were gone, vanished. And then everyone started screaming, right, Gerald, we're going to talk to everybody else, then I'll get back to you, but I want you to know we're doing the best that we can. Come along, man, I'll get you some coffee. A desolate voice. You're not going to find them, are you? The lieutenant responded. Of course we are. You kind of me, they were everything I cared about. They were my life. A voice, laced with urgency, cut through the despair. In a massive world crisis, there is no doubt that you will be desperate for answers, so please listen to me. Many theories will begin to form about what has happened. Everything from aliens from outer space to theories about human evolution will begin to be put forth. There will be news stories and special reports looking at every angle of the vanishing, no matter how far-fetched. In calmer times, these theories would be laughed at and totally rejected, but now in the face of the unexplainable, these bizarre theories will somehow sound possible. Experts from many different fields, including religious leaders, will sound like they have the answers, but they do not. They're feeding upon the panic and the chaos of the world, and they're using man's intellect to try to explain God's plan. The one thing that I can guarantee you is the one thing that will not be believed is the truth that Jesus Christ has appeared in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory and called his people home. The anchor, again, an explanation for what has happened. Ronald Weston is standing by in London. Ronald, how are the people in Britain dealing with all of this? How are they dealing with the disappearance of literally millions of people? What possible explanations do they have? I have with me Professor Thornton from the Sociology Department of Oxford. He has dedicated his entire life to the study of social evolution. Professor, what happened today? A professor spoke with authority. Well, I was able to hear Bishop Deeser a moment ago, and I agree with him. What the Bible spoke about concerning human evolution has been spoken of by great leaders of all religions and years gone by. The fact is, while this is startling, tremendously startling, this is not the surprising event. In fact, this is simply the next step in the social evolution process. Bishop Mess made mention of the same thing. The anchor pressed, but how does this tie in with evolution? The professor responded, look, do you think evolution was something that happened in a rainforest somewhere a million years ago? Evolution by its very nature is an ongoing process. This step in evolution was the final one humans needed, and what has just occurred all over the world was not physical evolution, it was spiritual. Do not you understand? We are gods. Huh? I thought I was searching for answers. So what do you make of it? You do not want to know. An officer spoke urgently. Looking at how about our people who is missing? Mac Neely Reed Rathwell L. That we know of, got to be a connection. Come on, this is MC's locker open. Reads, hey Lieutenant, do you really think it? Open it. Look at this. Mason, what do you make of this? Yes, sir. MC was really into the Bible, born again, and all that. But he wasn't pushy about it. Yeah, Reed's got one too about Rathwell. L. I do not know. We're all good cops. They're all Christians. Lieutenants, everyone that you've named, talk to those other people, find out. The lieutenant, questioning. Yeah, Mrs. Barry, can I ask you about your husband? Yes, Lieutenant. What, was he religious in any way? Yes, he was a Bible-believing Christian. He asked me to go to church with him once. Thank you, miss. Please try. We have to know, was he a Christian? This was a present. It was his Christian, sir. The bish come from every race and social group, but everyone was a Christian. Lynn, answer the phone. Honey, pick it up. Lynn, when you get this message, call me. This is an emergency. A voice, urgent and impassioned, pleaded. There will be confused for a while, but in the midst of all this chaos and speculation, one man will emerge who seems to have all the answers. I want you to listen to me very carefully right now. Your instincts, your intellect, and every bit of experience you have will urge you to follow this man. He will seem like the greatest leader who ever lived. He will seem like a messiah to you, but he is not. He is the most clever impostor in the universe. Unverse, he will speak to every nation as a friend. He will support their beliefs and causes. He will captivate the world with his speeches of unity and peace. He will captivate what has happened and offer hope for a better world. The world will fall in love with this man. He will become a world leader spiritually, financially, and politically. Nations will no longer be divided one from another by social ideologies. People will no longer be divided because of religious beliefs. Everyone will follow this new world leader as a man of world peace. He will be seen as the returned Messiah, a man of great wisdom and power, but it is a charade. He is not God. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. He is the one the Bible calls the Antichrist. And if he has his way, he will win you over to his side and steal your very soul. The news anchor, with a hint of unease. The entire world is in a total state of shock. The entire world except for one man, that is European Union President Franco Macaluso, is the one world leader who seems to have been prepared for this incredible event. As reported yesterday, Macaluso has been calling for world unity and predicted that absolutely anything is possible if we all only believe together. We now bring you to the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem, where President Mausu addressed the world a short time ago. A charismatic voice, filled with false compassion, echoed, "My children, I come to you today not in the name of another, but in my own name. Let there be no mistake and no misunderstanding. I was the one who created you, who loved you, and watched you grow today. You know the truth. You know that had I not intervened, you would have destroyed yourself, my creation. But that intervention has come at a cost. I have had to remove some of the children because they had chosen the way of hate. But today is the dawn of a new era, an era of peace and prosperity. I am the God of your father. I am that I am." The voice of warning returned, filled with urgency. "I urge you, do not believe this man. He is not the Messiah. He is the devil incarnate, and he will bathe the world in blood. He will rule the world politically, but that is not his ultimate goal. He wants to destroy your soul. It may seem that he has all the answers, but he plans to deceive the whole world. His promises may sound tempting, but they are a clever plot that will lead to your destruction. Although many will believe that he is the true God, and that all that came before him were impostors, he is really the prince of darkness. He is the son of Satan. Do not listen to this man, and do not listen to those who would follow him. You will have to be stronger and more courageous than ever before to resist this man's clever deceptions." The anchor, broadcasting to the world. We have been waiting for our feed from Jerusalem, where President Maluzzo has promised to shed some light on the absolutely incredible events of the past 48 hours. Well, clearly the world is ready for this broadcast. In fact, the numbers that I have been hearing are suggesting that this is going to be the most watched telecast in history. Clearly, all the people out there are desperate for some answers. Oh, we are about to go live to Jerusalem for that speech, and our coverage will continue from London. So for Bronson Pearl, I am Helen Hanna. See you again tomorrow. One World, One Network. This is WNM. President Macaluso, with a messianic fervor, addressed the masses. "Children of the world, welcome to a new age of peace and prosperity. Welcome to an age of human enlightenment. Welcome to heaven on earth. I hold in my hand right now the most important book in the history of the world. Unfortunately, it is also the most misunderstood. A long time ago, a man, a deceitful and evil man, and a man named Jesus came in my name and deceived many, but his deception has come to an end. His lies of Pence's lies of division and intolerance, they you to the brink of destruction. But I have removed the tears from the weak. I have come in peace, and I have brought peace to the world. I have saved you all from certain structure. This book has told you by my fruits you would know me. Now you have seen my good deeds and my miracles. My children, I am here to tell you today that we are ready to take." The voice of warning cut through the lies. There will be no mistaking this world leader when he arises on the world stage. He will come from somewhere in Europe, and he will take control of the world with peace accords. One of his acts will be to form a 7-year peace treaty with Israel. This 7-year treaty will seem to prove to the world the commitment to peace that this man represents. The Jewish people will welcome this peace agreement because they will also believe that he is the Messiah. As Jesus himself warned the children of Israel, he said, "I am come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive." After this peace agreement between Israel and her neighbors, the world will completely believe that this man is more than just a political leader. Everyone will believe that he holds the answers to all the world's problems. The anchor, reporting live, happens right now. With more on the situation in Bond, here is Sam Medcafe. It has now been confirmed that foreign ministers from the European Union, as well as leading religious dignitaries from around the world, have been meeting all night in this German government building. The attendees began arriving late last evening, apparently being summoned by the men we had all believed to be the European Union president. In fact, however, it is now agreed by virtually the entire planet that he is much more than that. The reporter asked, "Sir, can you comment on your meetings with President Macaluso?" The dignitary replied, "Well, even with the planet being saved from the brink of almost certain destruction and the haters of peace and unity have been removed, the most incredible sign we have seen has been the realization by the entire world that President Franco Macaluso is indeed who he says he is. I think we can say that we are, yes, living in biblical times. The Messiah of Israel, of the whole world, is living with us, and he is living today, and thanks to him we are living in peace. He brought peace that we knew is how we would recognize the true Messiah. It would bring peace that the one they called Jesus. Did he bring peace? No, only the true Messiah can do that. I have just received word that we are ready to go live to the EMP. And B, as you can see on the monitor, the Messiah has achieved something today that no person has been able to do before now. He has brokered a full and comprehensive peace agreement between two brothers who have been separated for more than 6,000 years this 7-year. Far-reaching agreement, however, goes beyond a simple peace between Arabs and Jews. It establishes the basis for a newly agreed two-constant tie-in for planet Earth. The Messiah will speak to the world shortly about these incredible developments. Thank you. The voice of warning intensified. Oh yes, do not be deceived by this new world leader. He is the Antichrist, the devil incarnate, and he will bathe the world in blood. He will tell the world that Jesus Christ is an impostor and that all those who believe in him were terribly deceived. Do not believe him. Your very soul is at stake, and to believe him is to welcome eternal damnation. Resisting his seductive words and great promises will be very difficult. You will be tempted as never before. Even the lines between good and evil will be blurred in your mind. You live in a time of great tribulation. It is a day of delusion, a day of deception and trickery. It is the earth's darkest hour. God's Holy Spirit, by living in all true believers, held back the spread of evil. But now that restraining influence has gone along with those who have vanished. But for those of you who have not heard the gospel of Jesus Christ, there is still hope for you. You can still choose to stand for God. A chilling scene unfolded. Hold it. Freeze that picture. Change that crowd. Next time this airs, I want you to edit in a properly appreciative crowd. Yes, sir. A voice questioned. Even God needs your help. Get out. You do not think that he can convince the world who he is without you editing out the people's right to decide for themselves? Well, I see your version of God did not do much to help you, Miss Hannah. You have got no idea what you are up against. I am not afraid of you. Well, you should be. Do not mistake our talk of peace and unity for weakness. People want peace, and we will give it to them. They want to believe they are more than just flesh and blood, and we will tell them they are. Hannah challenged. I bet you won't tell them the price. The chilling reply. There is no price, Miss Hannah. All they have to do is worship their Messiah. And if you do not, Miss Hannah, you will see a side of President Malou. So you cannot even imagine. I do not have to imagine, Mr. Parker, you see. A choice looms, one whispered in shadows and etched in ancient texts. A battle for the very essence of being, unseen, yet all-consuming. Each soul stands at a precipice, unaware of the weight of the decision, the architect of their own destiny. Do you comprehend the adversary, his reach, his influence? Kneel or face oblivion. Such is the deceptive simplicity of the ultimatum. Amidst the rising tide, a semblance of calm descends, a deceptive lull. A figure, Maloa, emerges, quelling the unrest, offering solace. The masses, weary and lost, eagerly embrace his promises, trading chaos for a fragile peace. Yet, beneath the surface, a disquiet lingers, a sense of unease. Order at what cost? Has history not taught us the dangers of surrendering autonomy? A specter arises, a global force known as One Nation Earth, embodied by Rick Bain. He speaks of veiled truths, of a grand deception orchestrated by the adversary himself. The rapture, the Antichrist, the living God, all obscured, manipulated. Technology, mass media, surveillance, tools wielded to control, to enforce allegiance. A mark, a symbol of servitude, dictating commerce, defining existence. But this is not merely about trade. It is about allegiance, an eternal decree. Choose this day whom you will serve. A woman bursts forth, her voice trembling with urgency, clutching a weathered tome. The Bible, a forbidden text, a beacon of truth in a world consumed by lies. Within its pages lies the key, the prophecy foretold. But her warnings are dismissed, her pleas silenced, deemed a threat to the fragile order. Yet, a seed of doubt is sown, a flicker of recognition in the eyes of one, Mason. He speaks of vanishings, of a world unmade, of biblical prophecies unfolding before their very eyes. His words are met with resistance, dismissed as nostalgia, a dangerous distraction. A new leader has arisen, promising peace and order, a vision of unity. But at what price? The missing, the silenced, the dissenters, are they merely sacrifices on the altar of progress? A choice is presented, veiled in promises of power and divinity. A new world awaits, where humanity ascends to godhood, where limitations dissolve. But unity demands conformity. Dissent is a disease, a cancer to be excised. And the masses, swayed by promises of liberation, turn against those who dare to question, those who cling to ancient truths. Christians, hunted, persecuted, their faith a beacon of defiance in a world consumed by darkness. The scriptures, once revered, are now fuel for the flames, symbols of division in a world striving for unity. The world unites in hatred of Jesus Christ. Remember this truth, it is the true deception. Mason, wrestling with doubt, torn between loyalty and intuition, discovers the terrifying reality. The world is being deceived. He chooses truth and finds himself betrayed, branded a threat. Bain reminds him of the 144,000 evangelists. He is facing divine judgment and great tribulation, and they can show him the truth. Death itself cannot sever the bond between humanity and God. A father, distant and skeptical, is confronted with the inexplicable. A leader arises, wielding power beyond comprehension, offering peace to a fractured world. Yet, a nagging unease persists, a sense of something amiss. He yearns for guidance, for the wisdom of the past, for the strength to discern truth from illusion. The heavens open, a trumpet sounds, and the dead in Christ rise. And the truth unfolds. Before these events, one last plea. Do not believe you can wait. Today is the day. The Bible says choose you this day whom you will serve. Guns and war. Days grew cold. A piece of bread. A man and wife asleep in bed. He hears a noise. My dear Helen, I may be gone, but don't worry, I'm with the Lord now, and please believe it's true. Helen, it's not too late for you. God will help you, all you have to do is ask. I love you. Grandma, duh. She needs to wash away her sins. I'm asking you now, please come into my heart and my life, forgive my sins. Reasons not to follow Jesus Christ will abound, but the rewards of heaven far outweigh the pain you may endure here on earth. It is a decision that will decide your eternal destiny. Your only chance to be saved now is martyrdom. Make the decision now. Give your life to Christ. Only He can save you.